I have a question, Joey.
Okay.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll still ask it. You haven't been doing different images for the
Oh
podcast. They've
no,
been
I stopped that a long time ago. That was way too much work. Welcome to the Magic of Animation, where we explore the enchanting world of Disney, from the classics we grew up with to the latest releases. We'll take a deep dive into the artistry, storytelling, the unforgettable characters, and the pure magic that makes these movies timeless. So whether you're a lifelong Disney fan or new to the magic, sit back, relax, and join us as we embark on our journey through the wonderful, magical world of animation. Hi-ho, everybody. This is the magic of animation, and I'm completely lost because I didn't prepare anything to say. I usually don't, so I don't know why I'm so lost, but we're going to be watching The Rescuers Down Under today, and I'm joined by Dequan.
Hey.
We actually already watched it. We're going to be discussing it. We're joined by Kevin as well.
Hey there.
And Mike.
Hello.
Also,
I was actually going to ask, wait, we're watching this together?
Yeah, we're just going to sit here and not watch it.
I thought about watching, because I hadn't watched the short that we're about to record until right before I hopped on here, so I thought about just watching it while we recorded it.
I've done that before.
The short. I don't even know the name of the short.
Oh, goodness.
I didn't know the name of it either.
Later.
I just searched boat and searched until I found something.
I sent it in the group chat. I said boat building.
Wait, is that what it's actually called?
It's like
Just called boat building?
builders or something.
Boat builds a lot?
Boat builders.
Legos?
Yeah.
All right, after this, I'm going to go watch that, and then I will be back.
But my name is Joey. I don't think I said that, so let's just forget that this intro ever happened and move on. How has everybody's week been?
Been interesting.
It sure has.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had a great week. Nothing specific is standing out at the moment, but it's been a great week.
That's good.
Nothing Pacific?
Specific.
Specific.
My week's been all right. Just crazy busy, but me and Dequan were talking about something before you guys hopped on that I think we all experienced simultaneously. A building exploded in our area.
More
I
than
blame
one.
Hank Hill.
What?
It's odd. It's odd because I was talking to a friend about this who lives in a completely different state, and she's like, "Yeah, that just popped up on my For You page. I'm sorry about your area." And I'm like, "Wow, that's a long distance for a For You page."
I blame Hank Hill.
Yeah, apparently it was it was an area that had a lot of propane canisters, and it was just chain reaction of propanes just blowing up.
Yeah, I was.
Propane and propane accessories.
We use dryer balls instead of dryer sheets, and they thump around. So me and my wife were like, "Is our dryer about to explode? Why are the dryer balls so loud?" And then we were like, "That can't be it." And we were like, "Oh, it must be thunder." And then it never stopped. So we were like, "No." So I looked outside and I was like, "It's fireworks." And she was like, "There's no fireworks." And I was like, "The sky's lighting up."
It's fireworks.
And then we were sitting there and I was like, there ain't no way someone's having a fireworks show in March. And then finally someone posted it on the community Facebook page and I was like, oh.
Sure enough.
Well, there was definitely fire, and something was definitely being put to the works.
Right. It was crazy. So moving on from that, We are watching The Rescuers Down Under, like I said. It was released by Disney Animation on November 16th, 1990. And it was based on the Rescuers book series and the first Rescuers movie. It had a budget of $37 million and it only made $27 million at the box office. I think that's their first loss at the movies ever.
Really?
Wow.
That's a shock.
Right? I'm just checking. Yeah, none of their other movies have ever taken a loss, but this one did. But Lifetime, it made 47, but that's still terrible.
It makes sense that they took a loss like that, looking at how this movie looked compared to the previous one.
Right. What do you guys think the tomato score is?
If it took a loss like that.
Wait, critics, or we start with critics, right?
Yeah, critics.
Let's do 58.
Go ahead. Wait, what did he say?
58.
58? You took my number, so I'm going to have to switch it up and go 55.
Mike's really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Is Mike still here?
Mike?
Mike's muted.
Muted again?
Okay.
Mike.
Do you think by chance his Discord told him that he was deafened, although he's not deafened? Or maybe he is?
Well, it was a 72.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So was the audience score higher or lower than a 72?
It's
Lower.
Yeah, it was. 68. Still pretty high.
Wow.
Right? I don't really know what to do. I guess I'll talk about how this is the first official sequel of Disney.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Out of all the movies that they made, this is the first movie that they decided to make a sequel for.
I wonder what was their
film.
I wonder what was their motivation and the thought process for making this the very first sequel.
Yeah,
Right.
why this one?
Yeah.
It's not like the first one was the most successful.
Right. Let's see. How did the first one do? The Rescuers. Oh, I have no information on that. Good. Yeah, the first one wasn't great. So I don't know why out of all of their movies, Fox and the Hound didn't get a sequel. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh hadn't had a sequel yet. Robin Hood, Jungle Book, 101 Dalmatians, Sleeping Beauty, Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, Dumbo, Pinocchio, Snow White. None of those. You pick the Rescuers.
This one was just special.
I guess. So I guess I'll ask you guys the question while we're waiting for Mike. How many official sequels have there been? Not counting the Toon Studio sequels, because there's a lot.
So it's straight to the theater sequels then. Are you going off there or
Yeah.
Okay. How many sequels do I think there were? I'm gonna say 5. I don't
13.
know exactly the 5. I'm gonna say 5.
13? Where are you getting 13
I said what I
from?
said. I don't know.
Well, there's Rescuers. There's Fantasia, if you want to count Fantasia 2000. So, I mean, it is a sequel. Then there's... What am I... There's Winnie the Pooh, if you want to count that. Then there's Wreck-It Ralph 2, so that's 4. And then Frozen 2, and that's it. So there's 5. DeQuandra was right.
Cars too?
Cars is Pixar. I was talking about Disney Animation.
Oh, see, that's not fair.
That's where I tricked you up there.
That's not fair.
So if we're counting Pixar, we got Toy Story 2, 3, 4. So that's 3. You got Cars 2 and 3. That's 5. What else is there? Incredibles 2. That's 6.
Plus the 5, so we're at 11.
So we're at 11.
Brother Bear 2.
Brother Bear 2, that is a Toon Studio. I made that
Is
clear
it?
that those weren't counted.
Oh, yeah, you did. I just didn't know it was. Or was not.
Monsters University 12, Finding Dory
Boom.
13.
Wow.
So there you go. That's
Man. It's
You
almost
guys were
like I was
both
only
right.
one off.
You said 13, didn't you?
Did I say 13?
I thought you
You
did.
said
Man.
13. You said 13.
Oh my goodness. Name another. Is there another? I don't know if there is another.
I don't think so. So you guys were both right.
Well, that's good. I like
Man.
I'm
to
back.
hear that.
Hey,
It's difficult to be this good.
right?
Oh, welcome back, Mike.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, no, just I had to go, with my no internet. I had to go try to switch some stuff around and see if I could get something to work.
Nice.
So I just got back to my room.
Nice.
And no, nothing's working still, so fun. Anyways, continue.
So with that, we're going to jump right into the movie review, the Timon and Pumbaa's movie review, I should say. So overall enjoyment. I didn't take any notes for this because I accidentally put them all in the storyline section, so I'm not going to say anything during this section other than how I enjoyed it. And I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it at all.
What?
There were some aspects that I liked, but for the most part, it was bad.
Really? I'm on the complete opposite fence. I thoroughly enjoyed this, actually.
No,
I don't know why. If I'm being honest, I was very upset so often when I clicked the pause button to see how much longer I had to be watching it.
Joe,
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's up?
Did you like this better than the first one, or would you rather watch the first one?
See, that's where
You can't say neither.
I
That's
can't.
that's
I
good
kept
discussion.
saying that I like this one better. This one is easier to watch, but I like the first one better.
Ooh.
But this one's
What?
easier to watch. It's confusing.
I say I like this one more, but the first one made me less angry.
I enjoyed
Is
this
it-
one more. Not significantly more, but yes, it was easier to watch, and it was. I don't know. It was better overall, but only slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed a lot of aspects a little bit, but there were so many aspects that I hated with such rage that it knocks it down so much. Hopes I didn't set up the list here, so you guys converse while I get that going.
Okay. So
Blue, so it needs to be purple.
Yep.
I'm trying to. I'm doing
Anybody else have anything to say about how they enjoyed it?
I enjoyed. Okay, so I enjoyed a lot of it. Like you said, it was much easier to watch. It was honestly, I think it was it was much easier to watch and easier to follow. But it had I don't know how to describe it. It had where the first one sets you up, you understand why things are the way they are. This one sets you up. Why is it like? Is what I'm trying to say. Like it's just you're just thrown in there with little to no context and just told good luck. But that being said, you understand everything that's going on. You just don't understand why did it start like. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, you get all the setup from the first movie, so they're just kind of carrying on from that.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like there's a way to do that much better while giving context to what's going on and giving context why things start off the way it did. Because I felt that it was a little rocky at the very start.
What'd you want? You want like a Frozen 2 Olaf recap of Frozen 1?
I'd rather not have anything to do with that movie in general.
I mean, hear me out. If
That was a
it's like
fantastic part of Frozen 2.
if it's Bernard doing it, I can definitely rock with that.
See? Okay, there we go. Now
You know-
we're working on making this movie better.
You know something? Oh wait, I can't say it. I have to wait till we get to storyline because there's something I
I was
realized.
I was trying my best to explain it without getting into story bits.
So with that, I'll just give it a 3.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh!
really?
The first one got a 2, so
Jeez, there's
I'm
no way
gonna
it
be
was
honest
that.
with you. With the level of enjoyment I had, I'm gonna give it an 8. And the thing that's stopping it from getting a 10 deals within the role of character and story.
I'm gonna go with a 5. I'll give it a 5. I was stuck between a 4 and a 5, but I'll go with a 5.
I feel a 7.
yeah,
And I have a very weird take. I almost prefer the first one as far as art style goes.
Oh, same, but that's the wrong category.
I know. I just thought about, because I was thinking about my enjoyment, right? I was thinking about my enjoyment of it, and I was then thinking about like the enjoyment of the look. So it just came into my head. And I'm like, oh, that's a good point. It's not the right category.
So my 3
But
boils.
that's just a hot take.
My 3 boils down to the likelihood of me ever watching this again, and it's not very likely that I'm ever going to want to watch this again.
I would definitely watch this again.
So for storyline and
I
plot,
would.
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say I would watch this again, but I mean I would also watch the first one again. But the thing I still question is, why was this one chosen to get like a sequel?
That's what we were talking about while you were gone.
Was there a reason?
Who
It was
knows?
said like why this did, because that was the whole thing on my mind the whole time watching this. I'm like, wait, so why does this one have a sequel? I'm just curious.
I'm gonna look it up.
I can't unless I want my phone to die.
Right. Because of the successful animated film, The Rescuers became Disney's most successful recent animated film, earning $41 million in the worldwide box office. And under the new studio manager, Michael Eisner, it was decided that the feature-length sequel should be produced. I guess because it made so much money. Whatever.
That is okay. We'll go with
the
it.
storyline. This is from IMDb. It says, since Miss Bianca and Bernard have successfully rescued Penny from Madame Medusa, the two have been making plans for their future. Bernard plans on asking Miss Bianca to marry him, but his plans on proposing to his girlfriend are soon delayed when the two receive a distress call from an 8-year-old boy named Cody, who has been protecting a rare golden eagle and her eggs from a murderous poacher named Percival C. McLeach, who is wanted by the Rangers for killing whatever that bird's name's mate, and wants to know the location of the rare eagle. He kidnaps Cody in order to get the location from him. Miss Bianca and Bernard head to the Australian outback with Wilbur, the brother of Orville, to save Cody and whatever that bird's name is from McLeach. Yeah, that's... my first note is, what's the deal with this universe? So kids can talk to animals, but not every animal.
Maybe it's the animal has to know how to speak.
But why don't they all know how to speak? Why doesn't that eagle know how to talk? Why didn't the crocodiles know how to talk in the last one?
I mean, because they never took the time to learn.
I guess. But why is it only kids?
Because that's the magic of being youthful and wondrous and imagination. You don't lose that when you become an old, brittle, destroyed adult.
I guess, man. And then this kid just scaled the mountain like it was
That's
nothing.
a lot of reaching I'm doing. I'm telling you that right now.
This movie does a lot of reaching. How'd this kid scale that mountain? No equipment.
He's Australian. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna be real with you. Australians are just built different. They built on hard mode all day, all the time.
And then why
They
was
like
that
10
eagle?
times-
Why was that
10
eagle
times our
ginormous?
level. Like if you think you're level 10, they're level 20.
Right.
You think you just learned rock climbing? They've been rock climbing.
Come out the womb rock climbing.
That's how they come out the womb. They climb out themselves. In Australia, the doctor doesn't help them get out. They just crawl out.
That's awesome. But why was this eagle ginormous? Why was it a 30-foot
Eagles
eagle?
are big, man.
Not
Eagles are
that
big.
big.
There are
It
no
was a
eagles in the
rare
world
eagle.
big enough for a kid to ride it.
It's an
Okay,
Australian
I
eagle.
don't,
Oh,
look,
You
everything's
also
bigger
live
in
in spiders?
Australia. It's like Texas. It's like Australia's like the Texas of the world. All right.
Facts. Facts.
Have you seen their spiders? Yeah. Okay.
their
Except
spiders are
they're
gross.
except I'm gonna say that better. It's like Texas, but like 100 times better. Personal
Yeah,
opinion. Mighty seen the giant spiders. Not a fan.
The largest eagle
Wait.
in the world in terms of length and wing surface is the giant Philippine eagle, averaging 1 meter in height, and from the tips of the crown of its feather to its tail. That's only 3 feet. That eagle
And
is
that's
30
in the
feet.
Philippines.
That's not right because bald eagles have a wingspan of up to, I think, almost or just over 9 feet.
You're crazy. Google wouldn't lie.
Oh, yes, it would.
Google wouldn't lie. Love it.
The North American bald eagle stands about 30 inches high, much smaller than 3 feet.
Wait, is that just like from like tail to head, or is that
Yeah.
wingspan?
5.5 to 8 feet.
That's the wingspan, bro. I said
That's
height.
what I said.
I
Who
said
cares
height.
about the height? Who cares about the height?
Well, if a thing is only 3 feet tall, that freaking thing was much taller than 3 feet tall.
I mean, it was a golden eagle.
Bald
And
eagles
it
can
was
pick
a
up children.
rare one. It
Bald
was a
eagles
rare
can pick up
golden
little
eagle.
children.
And it
That's
was
all
from
I'm saying.
Australia.
You guys are nuts.
Oh no,
It's
Australia's
a golden eagle from Australia, bro. I could believe it being that size.
And then the eagle just yeeted the kid off the cliff. He said, "Thanks for helping me. Get out of here."
Listen,
They
man.
say
When you're
another
that
thing
big,
is his own kin.
you open your wings, you can't help what goes flying. Should have had weighted boots or something.
And then we got the poacher who was intimidating the kid with his gun and used it to pull him out. And then he
Which is
kidnapped him.
crazy.
What the?
That's a crazy power move, though. Like it was like very, very like telling of what type of person he was. Outside of him just being a poacher, the fact that he's goes about everything by flexing his power.
Yeah.
I blame the mouse.
The mouse tried to warn the kid.
The mouse tried to warn him.
Yeah, but the mouse is what drew the lizard to attack. It then exposed the backpack, which the backpack had the golden feather in, which then drew the hunter to question the kid and
That's
kidnap
true.
him.
The mouse had no business poking its head out of his backpack.
See,
Mhm.
that's the thing, Nick. That's the thing that I want to talk. Since we're in the story aspect, right? This movie could have never happened, right? If the kid, the kid's like, "You're a poacher. Poachers are bad." Cool. We established that now, right? So tell me why the kid tells him it was a gift. Why did you just say you picked it up off the ground? Like,
yeah.
Because he's a stupid kid. I mean, the kid literally went out of his way and was like, "Hey, yo, you're a bad person." Like, bro, I'm not telling anyone with a gun they a bad person. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
The boy free climbed a cliff.
Yeah, he ain't
He
afraid
free
of
climbed
nothing.
a cliff with no safety or no nothing.
And that wasn't a small cliff. That was a massive cliff.
That was a
Yep.
mountain.
That was an Australian cliff.
Just like their spiders and their eagles. Giant.
Like, is that Mount
Huge.
Everest? No, that's an Australian cliff right there. An Australian hill.
Mount Everest has nothing on a little hill in the
Little.
parks of
Is that
Of
the Grand
Australia.
Canyon? No, that's an Australian hole.
right. That's a crack in Australia.
Back in Australia.
These mice had huts all over the place to retrieve and send out signals, but in Hawaii, they had to take over a military base. Come on now. You guys couldn't just build one. They had to take over Pearl Harbor.
So that's a lot of work that you're asking for there, sir.
They did
Wait,
it
what
everywhere
happened?
else. I think it's a lot harder to strategically plan a way to get the military away from the computer than it would have been to just build a little hut.
Well, I think they did a great job.
I
Wait.
love it.
Am I the only one who's lost here? What are we talking about?
When he's
The
sending the
movie?
signal to the rescue society, it goes to Hawaii, and they're in a military base.
Oh. Yeah. You gotta travel by signal. Can't just send it straight to New York.
I understand that.
Also, I find it crazy that they were like, we need to send it all the way to New York. There ain't no other place. It's only in New York.
Well, they were looking for a very particular group.
New Yorkers?
I mean,
That's
no.
where the Rescue Aid Society headquarters is.
Yeah.
See, they have all the delegates there from around the world.
I'm just saying, the world's a big place for us people. It's twice as big as
Right.
for these mice.
So you say
For all of them that
maybe
come to
it's
New York,
twice as
it's
big as ours?
crazy.
Maybe in the third movie, they'll have one.
Yeah, I don't
There's
think we're
no
getting a
third
third movie
movie.
after this movie lost money.
Exactly.
But my next note is that Bernard made his proposal way harder by sucking. The
Agreed.
dude just watched his thing get kicked across the floor and then walked over to it and then just continually sucked at trying to retrieve it.
I generally hate that cliche in movies of all sorts. I hate that cliche so much.
It's
It is
kinda
a cliche. It is a cliche, 100%. But at the same time, you got to think of the pressure and the, like, fear. There's a word I had and I completely lost it when I said pressure. I forgot what the word I was
I
going to
don't
use.
mean
But my man was, like, absolutely, like, he's stumbling. He's nervous. Nervous, that's the word. When you try to do something when you're nervous, bro, you can be shaky. You can make all these fumbles and mistakes.
See, I don't mean him being nervous. I'm talking about the ring hitting the ground and then doing the hokey pokey around the entire dining room.
See,
Yeah.
the thing that's, I mean, maybe this is just with me because I'm a more paranoid person, possibly. Bro, I would have had that thing in my hand the whole time in my
absolutely no
pocket.
way
I
that
would have
would have been in my
never
pocket.
let it go. Like, I would have been like having that thing in my pocket, be like, this is the most important thing on my mind right now. There ain't no way I'm not making sure this thing is constantly on me.
Yeah.
That, like,
Mine was in my camera bag.
Mm.
Mine was in my pocket for an extended period of time.
mine was in my hat.
Who did you
Oh,
propose to?
really?
We don't need to talk about
Okay. That's cool.
No, I'm kidding. I ain't never done that. And yeah, nah, get
Mine,
that garbage out of here.
mine was
That's
inside of
trash.
a box. We can ship it to the house.
Nice.
Not my
Yeah, I had
house.
an
With
Amazon
a
deliver.
What's up?
Had
With,
the Amazon guy do it for me.
with a note that says, "Hey, I saw you before. Want to be my wife?"
I've just sent out rings to random houses saying, "Will you marry me?" Someone's probably said yes. They just don't know who it is. I don't even know who it is.
It's diabolical.
Yeah, I'm married somewhere. Somewhere out there.
That's awful. So going back to the storyline, there's an aspect of this movie and the last movie that I absolutely can't stand. I
That is-
hate the airport aspect of the birds. I
Wait.
mean, I understand it's fine that they're taking the bird to fly there. That's cool. They have their own little system to fly. That's cool. Why in the world is a runway too short for a bird that can land literally anywhere with no problem?
That's a big bird.
I
It's an
don't.
albatross.
That is indeed a big
Hey,
bird.
That is not an
That's a
Australian
big
bird.
That
Exactly.
is true. You know what?
Exactly.
No, he's cooking right now. That runway should have been big enough.
It's not an Australian bird.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Ostriches can't fly.
On that list, he's not preparing for Australian birds to land there because Australian birds are already there.
Oh, right.
He flipped that list over. That was the biggest bird on that list.
I don't. Okay, but birds don't need runways. They land in a vertical line.
Yeah, but like
Unless you're
Have
a
you ever
duck
watched
landing
a
in
duck
water.
land?
he's a plane bird though. He's a
Yeah, but-
bird.
Yeah, but see, those
Yeah,
are
I mean,
birds
he's-
without passengers. These birds have passengers,
Yeah, they're going at like
right?
a
Just like an
plane's
airplane.
type of.
The dude
You
was
want an
doing
airplane? Just go whoop,
dude
pop.
was doing acrobats and cannonballed out of a plane with them on his back. I don't think landing in a calm vertical fashion would have mattered.
See, getting out of the plane, right? Jumping out of the plane, skydiving, right? That's gaining momentum. He had to lose momentum.
You
He
guys
was
are
going
wild.
too fast.
Gaining
are
it
wild.
is the easy part.
I don't think you've ever seen a bird in your life.
Have you ever heard of gravity?
Birds aren't real.
The ground hurts. Okay.
The
Yeah, when
ground.
you're going at top speed, especially when it's hot in Australia,
And
Let me tell
I
you,
like to point out
you
the
can't
fact
just land
that
like that.
you're targeting the best character in this movie
Hey,
by far.
Oh,
He is a great character.
Whoa, okay.
But there's no
Huh?
need for a runway. And even if he needed a runway, they're in the middle of nowhere. So there's nothing but space for him to land.
Well, his destination was to land there. He's not gonna just.
I don't
Okay,
care.
never mind.
I hate it.
I was gonna say he's not gonna break the rules, but he most certainly broke the rules regardless. So I'm not gonna even say that point.
Because he was told not to land, and he did.
Well, if he landed somewhere else, guess what? Maybe a spider would eat him.
Well, that's the risk you take.
Maybe he would have landed in the spider's web.
That's the
Mhm.
risk you got to take.
I just find it funny. He's like, "Don't land." Oh, I'm landing, buddy. You ain't telling me nothing.
The only thing that he proved was us Americans are just
Stubborn.
not good at listening. Like, we just think that we own the place.
Nah, it's because that bird is a true New Yorker. That's all it is. New York, he's a New Yorker. He ain't listening because Bernard was over there saying like, "I don't know. He told you there's just not enough room. I don't think you can." He's like, "I'm gonna land.
That's
I'm
Bernard,
gonna."
though. You gotta
Well,
remember,
what else
Bernard
was he gonna
is
do? Turn
always
around and
very
go back?
fast.
Yeah.
Land in the freaking dirt.
It's dangerous.
Going to
Yeah,
somewhat
I-
more positive route. There
Don't
was a
say
pretty-
that to Sully. All right, there you go. Tell that to Sully.
yeah.
All right, where's he at?
He landed in the water instead of the runway because you can land elsewhere.
Yeah, but did you see any water? Huh? Did you see water in the outback? No.
He's a
Actually, I
bird.
did.
He's a bird.
There's a frame where when he cannonballs out of the plane, there's water.
Well, yeah, because he's like very.
Well, they were
high
in
up
Sydney. They had to go much farther than Sydney.
Uh-huh.
And you
Um,
don't think at anywhere in Sydney there's water? You think they're just
Yeah, but then what's
dehydrated
he gonna
there?
do? Walk?
Yeah. No, he can fly. Gently
Oh.
cruise.
So that he's got to fly. So that means he's got to land again.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to fly like a plane. He can fly like a bird.
To
I'm just not gonna reply to that.
to a slightly more positive note of mine, it was a pretty good plan for the bad guy to come up with when he told the kid that the mom bird died and the eggs would too if no one saved them. But how in the world would that kid get back on his own? He would definitely die before he ever found his way back. And then, even if he somehow managed to make his way back, which he did, how did he not hear that massive, super loud truck following him the whole time?
You know, I questioned that too, and then I thought, he must have really, really been very patient to just keep his car as far back as possible as to not get caught. Because how did the kid never notice that he was being followed by a car?
A car that is that loud. But
Speaking of
there's
that
no
car.
way that kid made it all the way back to the nest. There's no way he knew where it was.
Well, okay, hold up. I could believe that. I can't believe that the kid never noticed he was being followed by the car, unless the guy held his car all the way back somewhere. And then even then, I'm like, damn, this dude is the most patient villain ever.
Patient or just a kid dumb?
The
I
kid
think he's
dropped.
just a kid dumb.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't really think of a way that he is dumb, but I can't think of a way that he's not dumb.
I don't
He's
know,
just
there's
young.
a lot of
He's young and
dumb, bro.
naive.
No. Oh no, he's just dumb. Like there is no. This kid is by far. He has taken the crown for the dumbest Disney character so far.
Ooh,
Wait,
I don't know.
I don't know
That's
if I'd
saying a
say
lot.
hold up.
that.
Why is he dumb?
I said
why
so
is-
far, so far.
Edgar was pretty dang dumb.
Hold up.
Who's Edgar again?
The butler from the Aristocats.
Nah, because he got away with his crime action.
He got shipped to Timbuktu.
Yeah, he got away with it at first. He was not aware that they were that smart, all right? Like those were extremely resourceful cats.
Wait, here's my question. Why is the kid dumb?
Because the whole situation started because he's like, oh no. Like this was a gift. Like, bro, what?
He's just an honest kid.
Nah.
I don't see that as dumb.
That was definitely dumb.
It would have been dumb if he thought the hunter, who is clearly evil, was good. And he's like, oh yeah, it was given to me by the eagle who lives over there. After he just called him a poacher. Then I'd be like, okay, all right, kid, you dumb. Shut up. You're stupid.
He should have been smart.
He just answered honestly. And then he said, where is he? He's like, I'm not telling you. That kid went through being kidnapped to save a bird, bro. I can't think that kid is dumb.
Yeah, he would have never got kidnapped if he would have just said, I found it on the ground and thought it looked pretty.
He actually, again, I'm going back to my point. He would have never got caught if that stupid mouse never popped its head out. If that stupid mouse never popped its dumb head out of the bag to get seen by that dang lizard, everything would have been A-okay.
That is indeed also true. Can't deny it.
Also, why was the feather on the outside of the bag? I'm sorry, I would have had that in the bag. You know what? The kid is dumb. That was dumb.
Oh my goodness.
Why kid put the feather in the bag? What's wrong with you? Why you got that on the outside? Stupid.
So this poacher just had a rocket that he was going to shoot at this bird.
Bro,
Yeah, you know what? That was insane. I didn't even think about that.
you know what's funny? When I watched it, I was like, "There's no way he's about to shoot a rocket at this bird."
He was about
There's
to
no
boom.
way. And then it shot like a rocket. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he did." And then he came into the most pinpoint accurate, doing backflips, tying itself up net ever. And I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, that's
I'm
some
not gonna
smart,
lie, bro.
that's some smart net technology right there. How's
crazy
my man
amount of
living in the future?
And then I have
Australians, man.
I have to rag on
They're ahead
Bernard
of time.
again. Bernard sucks. He was constantly falling behind every time that they had to go do something. Like at the
Hold
end,
up.
how did he take so long to grab onto that rope and then lost his grip on it and got left behind in the nest?
Come on, boy, Bernard, some slack.
Hold up. I'm about to denounce this slander so fast. Are you ready for this? My man wasn't being carried for being a cute little mouse girl. He was being left behind
Mouse woman, thank you
because
very much.
what?
I said, mouse woman, thank you very much.
Irrelevant. Don't care. Anyways. He was constantly being thrown to the back burner by the dude. I forgot what his name was. What was it, like Jake or something?
I don't even know
Close
his
enough.
name.
What was he? Was he a baby? What was he?
No,
What was he?
he was like
He
a
was
jumping monkey or something like that.
He was an Australian mouse. His name was Jake. Look at you go.
Yeah, I thought I remember
He was a
hearing Jake.
jumping
They
mouse.
kept trying to leave this man behind because he was trying to, put
Mr.
some game on
Steeler Girl.
his woman, and he was like being left behind 24/7, having to basically keep up and hang on for dear life. My man doesn't suck. My man was being given the hard life.
He's supposed to be the rescue aid society jumped at the fact they didn't even consider anyone else. They were like, you know what, we have to send our two best people, Bernard and Bianca. And you know what, if they're their best people, the world's doomed. The rescue aid society must be awful if Bernard and Bianca are their best.
Well,
You can
Bernard was
say that
heartbroken.
because you don't like the way they get it done, but they get the job done.
In spite of them, they get it done.
They get the job done, and that's
Well,
that's
Bernard-
what's important, bro. Have you never seen like what is it, Mr. Bean?
Mr. Bean.
My man does the wackiest things of all time, and he still gets the job done. Have you never seen what is it, Pink Panther?
With Steve Martin?
Well, that or the originals.
The one with Steve
Inspector
Martin's pretty
Clouseau?
rough.
Inspector Clouseau always gets the job done. Always.
Sure,
He might be considered the worst detective, but he's still the best because he gets the job done.
I will give him credit though. That switcheroo he did with the eggs, brilliant.
Oh man, was it? I'm not gonna lie. What is it? The snake dude, the lizard, hit his head on the thing, and I saw one fall. I'm like, "There's no way he stuck the eggs in the ceiling. That's impossible."
That's what I thought too. I was like, "Oh, there's another egg."
Underneath the nest. It looked like an egg fell from the ceiling and hit the floor. I'm like, "How'd that not crack?" There's no way he stuck those up there. I don't believe it, and I was right to not believe it because that's not what he did. You know who's stupid? That lizard. Yeah. That lizard is dumb. All it had to do was dig a little deeper.
Dig
he was like,
a little deeper.
"Oh, they're not right there. Oh, I guess they're not here. Oh,
whatever." But then he was immediately an idiot again by not using Wilbur to fly to find Bianca. This little dummy was running at 0.1 miles an hour after this vehicle. Those eggs would have been fine. Wilbur didn't need to sit on them.
I mean, how would he know?
Because
he just had to protect those eggs. If I had to protect something, I would think something needs to be protected.
You know, if I have to protect something, I'm choosing a child over some bird eggs. And this child was mere seconds away from getting eaten by crocodiles because he decided to run half the way there instead of taking the bird. But I guess there wasn't a runway there, so he couldn't have taken the bird.
See? Now you're thinking.
There wasn't a runway at the nest either. He just landed like a normal bird.
Yeah, because he wasn't flying like a plane.
Also had a problem. How did he body a warthog?
Because my man Bernard built different. He had to play catch up in Australia. He caught up.
And that's the most unrealistic thing about Australia.
And then I hated how much that dude's truck could do. It like had a gadget for everything. And then Bernard straight up killed him.
No,
yeah, I was gonna mention that Bernard.
No.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes, he did.
Gravity did.
I got it.
Gravity
ran
did.
up
Was he still
here
alive at the end though? Because they showed him screaming even after the waterfall.
When they show the lizard jump on him, I was like, okay, it's an accidental death. But no, he was going to save himself, but Bernard pushed him. So Bernard straight up killed him.
Yeah, but he did.
No,
but
he gave him a choice.
It's not Bernard's fault that he couldn't swim, right?
There was crocodiles all over. If that dude wasn't the best crocodile fighter in the world, he would have been torn to shreds immediately.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
he might have been the best crocodile fighter, but he clearly wasn't the best swimmer.
No.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Bernard.
I mean,
the
didn't kill him.
away
The waterfall did.
No.
Even the crocs were like, all right, we're gonna get out of here.
Bernard killed him.
Nope.
Nope. I'm sorry. My man he couldn't. What is it? Survival of the fittest. He couldn't do it. He couldn't cut it. He had every opportunity and chance that he could have lived.
You can't throw a grenade at someone and say, "Oh man, that grenade killed that person."
Yes, they can. If they don't move from the grenade when I throw it, that's on them.
There was more than enough opportunity.
You can run from a
for
grenade.
him to save himself.
You guys are wild.
I mean, the lizard saved itself.
They're gaslighting you, Joey.
That's all they've been doing the whole episode.
We're spitting facts, and he can't accept facts, so he has to call it gaslighting. Now that's crazy.
And then
trying to make us to be villains because we bring up valid points.
And then my last note is Bernard again showcasing strength that is non-existent when he pulls the kid out of the water.
See, you gotta hear me out. You gotta cut Bernard some slack on there. And the reason I say that is because Jack and Bianca somehow managed to hold him up with the tiny rope that they had. So you gotta cut him some slack.
I'm not cutting anybody slack. The storyline of this movie, I'm giving it a 3, and that's generous.
Actually, I have a point I wanted to say about with the storyline for this. The one thing that bothered me.
Do it.
The thing that bothered me to this one compared to the original, I feel like they made Bianca useless. I'm just gonna say it straight out. I had to think, what did she really do in this movie? Nothing.
She did take a backseat. I think that's okay though. The reason I think that's okay is because in the first movie, like, she did just about everything, and Bernard barely did anything.
I don't know.
I guess that's fair. I don't know. The first movie felt like it was a little bit more balanced between the two. She did a little
I
bit more
thought it
heavy
was
lifting because my
50-50.
man went from being a janitor to a rescuer. But in this one, it's like they're supposed to both be rescuers, but like she didn't really do anything
No, it was
in
just
this
Jack
movie.
and
I
Bernard
thought.
doing everything. She didn't
Basically.
do nothing.
I'm even going to say my man Bernard was the MVP.
I'm definitely not going to say that. Dequan, what do you give the storyline?
I give the storyline. I'm gonna say I'll give the storyline a 6.
Kevin.
I'm going with a 5.
Because the thing that really angers me, I just need to say this really quick, is the ending.
What
Like,
about it?
did they take him back to his mom? Because she most certainly think her kid got packed up,
Yeah, they probably should have showed that reunion.
right?
Or showed that the eagle made it back to its kids.
Yeah,
That
it seemed
too.
like they all abandoned their homes at the end.
And
like-
left Wilbur to take
Wilbur,
care of the
too.
kids.
You know, you that point about the ending, which is weird. I forgot about it because I literally just finished it a little bit ago before we started. I'm lowering my dang score because I forget how stupid that. I forgot literally so fast how dumb the ending is because just it feels rushed. There's nothing that really like, yay, they stopped the bad guy, yay, we're flying away, but nothing else gets resolved. And I guess you can make the argument: do you really need to see that? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because right now this is like a weird ending. They just fly away, yay! And then they deliberately show that the bird plane was there when the eagles hatched. So now I'm left to think, wait, is he taking care of the eagles? Did they just abandon it? What happened?
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that can speculate now. And none of them are good. Let's get a 5. Actually, maybe a 4. I'm going to give it a 4.
There you go, Mike. I was considering lowering mine to a 1, but I'm gonna leave it.
Yeesh!
So
Maybe you will hit lower
characters.
than my score.
I feel like the voices that all came back had a little bit of an extra pep in their step. They weren't as boring as they were last time.
It could have been a new direction or maybe like a new microphone, like a new recording type setup.
It's definitely better technology available than since the last time. How many years has it been?
Too many.
90 and Rescue.
90?
So there's 13 years in between the two. 77 and 90.
I thought you were saying 90 years. I'm like, 90?
The kid's design was alright, I guess. I mean, nothing too offensive about it. The Poacher had a fantastic villain design.
I agreed. I also liked his little minion too.
The little lizard,
Joanna. Joanna.
Joanna. I have a note that says I like the lizard sidekick, so I agree.
So the
I want-
design of the Poacher was so good. They looks like they've basically reused it for Commander Rourke in Atlantis.
What?
Do you see the resemblance?
I've only seen
No,
that movie
I
one time.
I've seen the movie only like one time too, and I was like super young at the time. I was like, I think
just
in
don't
like
remember the
singular
character.
digits.
Okay, hold on. I'm working. Go on, keep talking. I'll work on sending the pics.
I had a problem. Why didn't the mom and the kid have an Australian accent?
Okay, see, I'm glad you
I
said that
think-
because that was my biggest gripe. I'm like, Jack has an Australian accent. Like, they don't even have to say Australian terminology, but like, an accent would have been very, appreciated.
I think the mom kind of did. And at one point I thought the kid tried to, but I thought, oh, it's a kid, it's a child actor, probably wouldn't know how to really do that.
Well, then hire an Australian child actor.
I don't think Disney was on that
I
plane.
don't think they really had the resources, the time. I don't think they had a way to really go hire exactly an Australian child.
The Little
at the
Mermaid
time
made
to do
$84
this.
million
I'm looking at it,
a
Kevin.
year before
And?
that. That's quite a lot
And?
of resources.
It's not the same as it is nowadays.
I don't think that it was mostly due to the fact of resources or anything like that. I just think at the time Disney did more things like within their area, and they didn't really branch out like they do now. They're a little bit more, I say, cultured now compared to what they were back then.
See,
So,
that's just
84
that's just
million.
not 100% true. I feel because you look at a lot of different animations, even ones that happened after 2000s. If they had someone who they thought would like fit the voice or someone they could get in contact with, they would do it. They didn't really be like, we have the resources, the money, or the way to get in contact with someone that fits it to the exact type of like demographic or voice.
84 million in 1990 is worth 200 million today. So that was a lot of money that they made. They definitely have the resources to go audition some kids in Australia.
That's what I'm
I
saying. Like,
disagree.
Or they didn't even have to go to Australia. Just put out the audition, say we're looking for kids who can do Australian accents or kids that have Australian accents.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that they cared too much back then compared to how they do now.
They definitely didn't care, or they would have done it.
Right? Because
I
like
feel
if
like
you
you're
look at
just looking at it with like a new age mindset. This is
no,
where
if you look
everyone
at
would want to be like on top of doing it like that now. Everyone would be like, make sure you do it like that or else, and they would be having they have the ways now to be able to easily do it.
Well, you can't even do that because Mulan comes out in... When does Mulan come out? Where's Mulan? In 8 years, and they got Asian actors and actresses to play those characters.
Maybe easier to get someone of that, get an Asian actor.
I don't know. I think it would have been real easy to get an Australian. Australians have one of the most well-known accents in the world, and you're not going to...
Well, that's not entirely true because sometimes when people try to mix them up, or not mix them up, try to do an accent, they actually mix up between Australian and British.
That doesn't mean it's not one of the most well-known. It just means people can't do an Australian accent.
I don't know. I feel like because it can be mixed up, it's known, but people can easily mix it up. And sometimes they even mix it up the opposite way, too.
Did Kevin say that he was going to be right back?
no, he
I thought
said
he
that
left.
he was
No, I was getting the
finding
pictures.
for us.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I didn't want to say
Also,
this
I
next
didn't
part.
like the lizard.
I didn't want to say this next part if you weren't here because of what you said earlier. But they had a new bird because I'm pretty sure the old voice actor passed away. So they casted John Candy in his place, and I love John Candy.
Yep.
Hot take. I prefer my boy Orville over Wilbert.
As far as how the birds are, I prefer the old one. As far as voice actors, I really like John Candy.
John Candy is a legend.
And what I mean by like I prefer Orville more. It's not that Orville's a better character or anything like that. It's just he felt the part more to me. Wilbert is definitely the more better character for a movie like this.
Actually, I didn't like him.
I feel like they were perfect for what movies they were in. Like the first one was more doom and gloom, or like the environment was just very gloomy. Well, this one is a little bit more bright, a little bit more action pack, I would say.
See, like I don't like the bird in this movie. I like John Candy, but I don't like the bird. I feel like he's just... I don't like him. I think he's kind of a jerk. I think he's kind of annoying, kind of obnoxious.
I
was not really a big fan of him.
that. It could be due to the fact that he was new and whatnot. And
no, just the way he portrays himself, the way he goes about things. It has nothing to do with like being new or old. It's just a matter of, to me, in this movie, this bird was a jerk. In the last one, he wasn't a jerk.
Well, what I mean by like new is like age wise, because usually people who are younger would be a little bit more rash and whatnot. They're not usually as calm, mature, respectful. So that's
Is he supposed to be young?
That's the vibes I got from him.
Well, I mean, he
I just
said
thought
he
he was
was
a
the
jerk.
brother of Orville, so he either has to be his younger brother or his older brother.
Okay, but
Definitely
that
had
also
a,
just goes into how old. What's the age gap we talking about here? Is it like a year or two? Does a year or two really make that much of a difference?
I guess it
I have no
doesn't even have to be older or younger because they could have came from the same nest.
oh,
So
Maybe they're twins.
twins. I think they would have mentioned twins now.
maybe.
Okay, that actually brings up a question. For now, with birds, because they hatch from eggs.
Mm-hmm.
If two
Yes.
birds from the egg hatch at the same time, are they twins?
I don't
I
think anyone
think
cares
Not
enough to
identical
distinguish
twins, but
that.
just twins.
I think they're all of the numbers of combinations due to the fact that they're all birthed at the same exact time. They just hatch differently.
Yeah, so if two birds hatch from an egg at the same time, like they each hatch from their own egg, but at the same time, are they considered twins?
I don't think the timing of them hatching from the egg matters.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just pretty much age dependent or time dependent at that point.
So if they both just hatch from the same nest, then they're twins.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, problem solved.
Genetically, probably not,
They're brother twins.
because they're growing in
Wait,
their own
how would it
thing.
not be genetically?
Well, because they're growing in their own thing. It's not like they're growing from the same thing at the same time. They're growing in their own home. They're in their own egg.
Same time though, from the same person.
I don't know, man. I'm not a
Well,
biologist.
same bird. You're not an animal biologist.
I
Maybe
am
you should
not.
you go fix that.
You know what? I'll go to school for it just so that I can come back to this question.
Yes. Yes, perfect.
The Australian mouse is pretty cool, which I now learned his name is Jack. Pretty cool guy.
Yeah, look, see? He had an Australian accent.
Yeah, which
Yeah, which
means
is
that
really
the kid
awesome.
should have had an Australian accent.
No, because he was an Australian adult. They didn't have any Australian kids.
Oh,
Because, like I said, I think the mom had one too.
maybe she did.
She didn't
but
have much of a role.
If you're going to have
thought I
anyone
heard
with
of
an
it.
accent, then everyone needs to have one. You
I
can't pick and
agree.
choose. You can't pick and choose.
Wait, we don't know. We don't know if she grew up there. What if she moved there?
I guess that's
I mean,
fair.
I would say that's pretty impressive that she chose to move in a desolate area
in
in
the middle
Australia.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wanted to get away from everything, literally.
Yeah, it'd be a great place to move.
Oh,
Start
yeah,
a new life.
definitely.
Maybe she's on the run.
Oh,
Anything
dang.
about God's most dangerous creations.
The
Hey, ain't
nurse,
no one gonna look for you there if you're on the run.
the nurse mice, they were creepy. I don't know why didn't they
Oh,
have whites in
my.
their eyes.
Wait, how come none of
I
them
would-
had Australian accents?
Because they had the nursey type of vibe, you know, how old school cartoons and whatnot, the nurse all had distinguished voices in that aspect. They had
But
their
they're
own accents.
Australia.
Yeah, but the nurse the nurse is
Everyone that
overpowered
is
that.
from Australia in the movie should have had an accent. So I'm not sure what point you're trying to make. You're helping my point.
I'm getting at the. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting at it because I'm not hearing any. I didn't hear you say anything about it. So I'm just pointing out the thing. That's why I did the mocking
The
voice with it.
poacher
But
should have had an accent. The mice should have had an accent.
Oh.
The kid should have had an accent.
now it's all fair and equal.
I'm glad the poacher didn't have an accent though.
And then
Makes him more creepy.
right. And then my last note is I hated Frank. They kept telling him to be quiet and he kept ignoring them. And then he got mad at them
Jesus
and purposely made a loud
Christ.
noise.
Yeah, that was one of the things that irked me.
Wasn't Frank the lizard?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Whatever happened with those animals? I don't remember what happened. I remember they got caught trying to escape.
They're still locked in that cave because they never went back for him.
So
Wow, this movie sucks. I just thought about that. Like, wait a minute. Whatever happened with them? Did I zone out and I missed what happened with them? No. They were just abandoned and forgotten. They were there for a bit, and the bit didn't even like go through to accomplish anything. They're filler.
Yeah, you know what? For
Yeah,
that,
fair point.
I'm changing my storyline to a 2 because I forgot that they forgot about the animals.
I'm
And
putting mine to a
characters is
3.
also getting a 2 because they didn't improve on any of the characters from the original movie, and all of the new characters kind of sucked. You know what? I'll give it a 3 because Wilbur and the Poacher were actually pretty cool characters, and Wilbur, not Wilbur, the Poacher wasn't a cool guy. He just had a cool design and was a good villain. And
I'd say
Kangaroo
he was a
Jack
really
was
good
all right.
villain. Actually.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4 because he was a very good villain.
And this is for what?
Characters.
Oh, okay. Character. I'm gonna give characters. I'm gonna give it a 5 because okay, I did like a lot of the animals that were in the dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
but like Frank and the kid, they just made me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just couldn't tolerate it.
God, I hated Frank.
Frank does.
I'm still questioning what the heck the point of any of those animals were.
Well, because he was a poacher and he had a bunch of animals captured, so.
I liked the characters in this one.
I mean, for story, not why they were captured or there. I'm just saying, like, for story wise, like, they didn't accomplish anything. If you take that whole part out with them, nothing changes.
No, I mean, I guess it just gives the villain a dynamic to him that he is a successful poacher.
Yeah, I agree with Joey on that because let's be honest, if all those animals weren't down there, you would like, okay, he probably is not that great of a poacher. We don't have any context of how well he's poached outside of him allegedly getting the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only one thing. That would be an
That's
argument.
all I needed.
So Kevin,
I
you
don't
like
think
the
they
characters?
make him seem any better. Me personally, they don't make him seem any better of a poacher. In fact, I think would have made him a better poacher, and this is about to be really maybe messed up on my part, is if they were dead. If they showed him he had a bunch of trophies of these animals plastered everywhere.
They had
He
pelts
did.
all
I
over
think
the
that would have done
lair.
the job a lot better without making it like we have to have these characters that now I'm like, dang, they are still down there.
They showed pelts
They
all
are
over his
trapped
lair.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he did go on and he went on a tangent about how he gave Joanna all these different type of eggs. And I would say that the animals down there do give more to his character because, okay, kidnapping the little lizard thing, not that big of a feat. Maybe it is because they were pretty fast, but a whole kangaroo is extremely impressive.
Right.
Like that's some elite level poaching.
I mean, unless he shot it with a tranquilizer dart from a distance, and then got it, brought it, and put it on the chain.
You would need some elephant tranquilizer to take down a kangaroo.
I could believe he could get it.
Yeah,
He's
he
already
had a
doing
rocket.
something elite.
He had a rocket, so.
He had a rocket.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The eagle, to me, I don't know. I just feel like there's no point to them. They don't add anything, and if you take them out, you don't lose anything.
You lose entertainment value because that scene down there, I will say, despite being frustrating with Frank, a lot of it was very entertaining, seeing like the interaction with all the characters and how they viewed Frank and whatnot. Like it was a nice scene. I think it was pretty good. I think taking it out would have definitely hurt the movie, to be honest.
I disagree, just because I forgot about them dang animals. I forgot that they're even still trapped down there.
They forgot about the animals because they didn't save them.
I mean, they forgot about.
They were that pointless.
They forgot about a lot of things. They forgot about Wilbert. They forgot about the baby eagles. They forgot about like his mom.
Shame on that eagle mother.
All right, Kevin, you like the characters?
Yep. I feel like a lot of them were improvements from the first one. Not significant, but the villain was better. The comic relief with Wilbur was better. And I liked the kid more. So I'm gonna. Ooh. I'm gonna go with an 8.
Nice.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say you like this kid more?
Yeah, I was gonna ignore it because I think Penny is way better than Cody. But
But for the sake of time restraints, I am not going to attack you for this, Kevin.
Weak. I smell weakness in this call. Kevin? I actually kind of like to get better than Penny.
Oh boy.
I don't really remember much of her. Actually, I think they're both equal. You know, I won't even say I like one or the other. I think they're equal.
That feels
They're
like
both about
bait.
the same.
I almost took that bait. I almost took that bait.
You can. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say it. You guys just hate kids who are boys. That's crazy. I can't believe this from you two. Every character that's a boy who's a kid, you hate them. That's crazy.
I'm not falling for this.
Mike, what's your character rankings?
Oh, well, first I want to lower my story to a 3.
I already did that.
Okay, cool. You heard me. Okay. Characters. 4.
Nice. Okay, what's next? Animation. Right away, the animation I thought was a huge step forward. I know it's a different style. I just thought that you guys said that the style was better in the last one, but I don't think you can.
Wait, no. I wanted to touch on that too. Like, I don't think the style is better than this one. Like, I think that the animal art style was better in the first one. And this one, they made them look, obviously it's a fantasy, cartoon fiction and whatnot, but it was the type of like detail and sketching and design that they had in the first movie that really sold me on like the animals design. The overall animation now, how fluid it is and everything like that, is super good.
Mm-hmm.
I like how everything looks outside of the animals. The animals look too soft.
All right.
Now the animation in this one, this is the first full length, fully animated, like fully digital animated.
And it shows.
Yeah.
It looked a lot more computery than anything before this.
Yep.
But from the opening shot of the leaves and the bugs, fantastic. But then that field flyover, I thought that was pretty lame. And then the shots of him riding the kangaroo with the backgrounds and everything, that was actually pretty cool. And then the most famous shot of this movie happens in the opening scene. I thought that was the climax of the movie, which is him riding the eagle in the clouds.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait. It's not the ending?
No, at the beginning, at the very beginning.
Oh,
when he's
man, they did a much better job at the end.
When I see clips of this movie, the only clips I've ever seen is the scene of him flying through the clouds at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, okay. They did a much better job with. They should have used. I guess using the ending scene would be too spoilery, so never mind.
Didn't we talk about the ending?
What?
Dino, didn't he just say like using the ending is too spoilery? Haven't we already talked about the ending?
No. I'm saying like for promotion wise, like in trailers and stuff like that.
Oh, well, how's anyone gonna know?
I mean, if you see that, all of them are flying on the back of the eagle in the trailer, and then it gets like halfway through the movie, you'll be like, oh, well, now I know everything will be fine, and I know where this is going.
I mean, it's a Disney movie. I'm pretty positive everyone was thinking it's gonna be fine. I don't know if there was a Disney movie back then that was like led you to be like, nah, things are gonna turn out bad. It's gonna all end bad. It's gonna be a bad day.
Well, as adults, yeah, but for kids, it's a different story.
And I feel like as a kid, even if you saw that in the trailer, the promotional trailer, them all flying on an eagle, I don't really think you're gonna go, oh, everything's gonna.
Yeah, the kid's not.
I don't think it's like
paying
exposing
attention enough to the
anything.
trailer.
Got a good point on it.
Hindsight.
But-
Hindsight means a lot when you know something already.
But that whole
Oh,
scene.
the one.
Oh, go for it, Mike. Go for it.
Sorry, I was just gonna say about how, or when I said I like the art style to the other one, it's not saying the art style is better than this one because, graphically this one looks better. It is a lot more appealing on the eyes. For me personally, I kind of liked the grittier art style and aspect to the first one.
Yeah,
Because
this
it
one's
made
very
it,
bright to that one being very dark.
and I'm just like that one was a lot more like grittier, as this one feels a lot more smoother. I don't know how to really describe it. It feels like very like fluid and smooth in this one.
Yeah, the
As the other
first one was rough and hand drawn.
Yeah, and I kind of prefer that for the type of like movie that this is, where it's like we're going out to basically be detectives and find this missing child. I like the grittier style to it rather than the smoother style. But on a technicality level, this movie looks better. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. But the scene when they're flying, when they like drop down to the water and he's letting him like glide across the water, fantastic, beautiful scene. But then I realize there's a freaking 30-foot eagle in the background, and I can't get over it.
You're gonna leave this giant eagle alone, sir.
Although the
You don't like
shots,
prehistoric eagles?
the shots of New York were atrocious.
Yeah. I remember taking note of that as well.
They were so bad.
No, yeah, they didn't put a lot of time in that at all.
Too many windows, probably. They're like, we don't have time to animate this right now.
Yep.
The shot of the water when Bernard was about to propose for the second time, that was absolutely gorgeous. With like the sun setting and then the pink water, and it's beautiful. The perspective was very off during the scene when the poacher was going down the river at the end. Like it looked like he was going up a tidal wave, and I was like, where is this tidal wave coming from? And then at the end, like you were saying, Dequan, when they're all riding the eagle, all the mice turn into Force ghosts from Star Wars.
Yeah, I was confused by that, to be honest. Maybe,
it was the moonlight,
animals.
But
the animals were their it was a kid's imagination. They weren't really alive.
Yeah, what if all the animals were actually just like his imaginary friends he made while he was trapped down there?
Crazy.
And never say how long he was trapped down there.
I'm pretty sure we brought that up in the original Rescuers episode too.
You know what? I'm seeing a trend. Traumatized children. That's the trend.
I gave the original Rescuers a 0 for animation, so by default this is getting a higher score.
And you gave it a 0? What?
It's gonna get a 6 from me.
That.
Dequan?
So I'm gonna give it a 9 actually. Because
Wow.
I like for what it is, because like Mike was saying, the original one was more grittier, which made a lot of sense because the place that it took in a swamp / city and town, while this one more open wilderness. There's a lot more sunlight. It's expected to look a lot more bright and whatnot versus a swamp. So I gotta give it a 9.
For it being the first fully animated film, it could have been better, yes. But with the time and budget that they had, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Mikey.
I don't even know what I want to give it. There's like, it's. What did I give the last one? I think this one will help me make a score for this at least.
Gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't really help me as much as I thought. I think. Again, there's like the part of me, like, I kind of want to give it lower, just because, again, I prefer the grittier style to the type of story it is. But I'm just going to leave it at 5. I'll give it a 5 twice. Because for me personally, I like the grittier style, but it does look better, so it gets that point back.
That makes sense. Next up is music / soundtrack. I was immediately excited because the first song that was playing when the kid was running through the forest had a didgeridoo in it, and I was like, okay, we're getting Australian music. This is sweet. But it was just a kangaroo using a log as a didgeridoo, and we never got anything like that again for the rest of the movie. So, 1.
Was there even music in this movie?
I can't remember anything. So
there wasn't like musical tracks per se, like vocal tracks. It was more like
more so the score.
But I can't even remember a score.
That's the thing I'm having a problem with too.
Which I'm gonna be honest, despite it not having much of a score, it sucks because I can't give it a score because it didn't really have much of a score. But it not having a score is what made it so good for me. Like. It didn't take me out of like I was immersed per se, like because usually when I get about musical numbers, it takes me out of the immersion. But like I was fully immersed, like to the fact that when I was making food, I was taking my phone with me, walking around the house and sitting down, like I was that immersed.
Yeah, see, no, I'm giving it a 1.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say. I think it needs it. Like, you don't need musical numbers, but you do need some type of music, something that's at least memorable, something that makes a scene impactful. And personally, just like, I think it was Great Mouse Detective, where I was like, there's nothing. I don't know what happened. Like, because before, it felt like musical scores were actually really good before in the older movies. And now it's like, if it's not a musical, the musical score itself is now being lackluster. It's like it feels like they wanted to put more emphasis on musical numbers as we get into this point, and where now the musical scores that make a scene impactful are now getting hindered.
It could also be one of those things too, where like, and you can say yes or no to this because some people will say yes, some people will say no. It could be one of those things where it blends in. It meshes too much because there are some like movies, some shows, some games that do that. Like it meshes so well to the fact that it becomes almost invisible.
True, but I don't know. When I hear like meshes so well, I think like, oh, it fits perfectly. Like it's doing a good job. And to me, if it's not noticeable, I can't say it's doing a good job. I could agree with its meshes too much. I would say it meshes too much because then it becomes mute. I don't feel anything. I don't hear anything. It's mixed in too much with it rather than saying it's too well, because saying it's too well would mean that to me, it makes it feel like that's noticeable and it's not.
I completely get what you're saying because I watched a video, small sidebar, but it's relevant to the situation. I watched a video talking about a game soundtrack. A guy was reacting to a game soundtrack, and the guy is a musical artist. He does a lot of musical-based things, and he actually makes his own music. He was reacting to a song from a game. He was saying that he can barely understand what the singer is saying because her voice falls right in line with the audio track. Usually when you make music, you want your voice to be slightly above it so you can hear what they're saying. Now, for somebody like me and Mike who play this game, being Persona, we don't really notice it all that much because we're so used to playing the game. But for somebody of an outsider who's just a music person who doesn't play the game, it seems like it is overpowering the vocal. And that's what I'm saying in this situation where, like, what's going on so much in the movie fits so well with the audio, the fact that we're not paying attention to it because it fits that well. While a person who's a music-based person will catch it immediately.
True, but I feel like it still needs to be at least noticeable. Like you need to at least notice or feel it. Maybe you won't pick up everything from it, because, and especially in a game's perspective, you're playing something and you're doing multiple things. You're paying attention to what you're doing in the game while you do the actions in the game, while you're listening to the sound effects, the people talking, the music itself. There's a lot of things that go on in that perspective. And even then, you still want it to be noticeable. You would recognize the song. You'd be able to pick it up, and you could even call back to a moment. maybe not with a specific lyric, but with at least like the tone or the beat or something can draw you to, oh, I remember that moment because I remember where this played, or I know where this plays, so I know the moment that it's taking me to.
Now, the last thing I want to say before I track this on too much is I am curious if I were to listen to the soundtrack of this movie without watching the movie, how well would I actually like the scores that are actually in the movie?
Fair point.
So what's your score?
Oh, well, I can't give it an actual good score due to the fact that I could not pay attention to it. So, therefore, I will give it a 1, unfortunately.
You went all that time defending it, and you're giving it a
Well, I
1.
mean, yeah, you can defend something all day, but an honest answer is an honest answer. Like I said, if I were to listen to it like right now, I might have a completely different take on it. But from what I've heard during the movie, that's my score.
Yeah, I mean, that was me with Sword in the Stone. I generally do like the movie, but like, the fact of it not being a great movie is a fact. I personally like it. I personally enjoyed it, but I recognize all the complaints with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to listen to this OST tomorrow, and I'm going to give you guys my thorough opinion of it.
All right.
He's gonna be like, Joey, change my score to a 10. My score's on fire.
If anything, it probably will go up by like maybe like 4 points. It might be a 5 in the future.
Kevin, what you thinking?
What I'm thinking is it wasn't, at least just, thinking back to it, it's been a couple of days, but it wasn't any more or less memorable than the first one's soundtrack or score. So I'm gonna keep on that same base and give it a 3.
Nice. And Mike, what do you give it?
What did I give the last one? I can't
3.
remember it. Oh. Well, this is about to be real weird. Because I was giving it a 3. I was thinking between a 2 or a 3.
We're fighting opposite sides, and then you give it a higher score than
I could give it. You know what? Give it a 2. Put it down for a 2.
Joey, you can.
No, give it a 0. Give it a 0. I'm like thinking about it. Why am I being nice? I'm literally thinking I'm being nice. No, I don't want to be nice. I'm mean. I'm a jerk. Put that thing at a 0.
How could you, Joey?
Wonderful.
You manipulated him.
Nah, he awakened my being fake nice over here. I'm over here like, oh, well, let's be a little generous. Let's give it a nice score. Nah, it was trash. It was garbaggio. I am not listening to that. No, that is a 0.
So next up is humor. I thought there was a pretty decent amount of humor in this. Like when all the animals were running at the beginning, one of the wombats tripped and fell, and that tickled me. It was just a subtle moment, but
I unironically laughed a lot during this movie, and I was disappointed in myself.
Even Wilbur's takeoff, I enjoyed that. I think John Candy added so much to the takeoff.
Not just to the takeoff, to every single scene that he was in.
Honestly,
there was so much more comedy in this one than the last one.
Yeah, the scene that sent me was, bro. Obviously, I assumed that all of you had to have like smiled or chuckled or giggled when he was like in like getting surgery. Like the first setup for surgery, when like he was like, "I'm an American, I have my rights," and it was like doubling. I was like, "Yo, that's insane." Like that was just cool good.
I like
they load the shots in the shotgun like the needles.
Yes.
I liked when the Australian mouse had to stop Wilbur from going all over the place, and he used a bra to like slow his momentum, and then when Wilbur stopped, he took it off and asked the mouse to hold it, and it just sent him flying.
Yeah, that was another one that sent me.
Yep, that was during the landing.
There was a moment where they were like, in the dungeon and whatnot. I can't remember exactly what moment it was that sent me, But there was a moment there that made me laugh really hard, and I can't remember what it was.
So I have a note about something in there. The koala poked the kangaroo on the nose, and then the kangaroo instantly cocked his fist back like he was
That's
about
what it
to
was.
rock him.
Yes, thank you, Joey. That's what it was. I was like, bro, he was gonna slide him. Like, he was prepared.
And I don't know why this got me so much, but when Wilbur threw his back out, he went, big time hurt. I don't know why putting big time in front of something that big time shouldn't be. It just makes me laugh.
I don't know why that got you.
Because,
I would definitely say, though, Wilbur definitely carried the movie and overall, like, laughs.
Yep.
Because, like, you would say that hurt big time or something like that, but no, just big time hurt. That's like saying when people would say, like, big sad or something. I love it. I really liked when the poacher came back to his eggs and the Joanne took one and he looked at his eggs and looked at him and was like, did you eat one of my eggs?
I have to say this too about Joanne. Joanne is an extremely impressive henchman. Most henchmen just bow down out of like absolute fear. Joanne had like mad sass. Like she didn't seem like she was that threatened by him. Like she knew he wasn't going to do anything seriously.
You said that about the Oliver and Company henchman and Little Mermaid henchman. So that's 3 movies in a row that you liked the henchman.
Right, like they're doing a good job with these henchmen.
And then when the pig runs out of his truck, the poacher goes, "Oh, Joanne, did you know that there was a razorback in my cab?" And then Joanne was like shaking. I was like, "Well, there was a razorback in my cab."
I love how she initially started off with, "Yeah, I knew." Then she's like, "Wait, no, I didn't know." So did she actually know or did she not?
Oh, who knows? That one's a mystery. So this one's definitely funnier than the last one. I think I'm going to give it a 6.
I gotta give it a 9 because, like, I don't laugh too often at Disney movies,
Right.
but this one, it was straight up beating on my funny bone.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump it up to a 7 just because of John Candy.
Yep. Gets an 8 from me.
Mike's going to come in here with a 2.
So there's a reason I haven't said anything. There was one moment that made me chuckle, and I completely forgot what that moment was.
Nice.
So I think that I think perfectly explains what I'm thinking. Give it a 2.
A 2. Wow.
I was expecting 0.
I was expecting a 1, so.
No, I know it made me chuckle at one point, and I like John Candy, so that gives it a boost.
Everybody
I might not like the character,
saying
but I like
John
him.
Candy guy's name. Who is this guy?
He was a really
who?
good comedian
You
back
don't
in
know
the
who
day.
John
Really
Candy
good
is?
actor who unfortunately passed young.
I generally don't know this guy by name, at least.
John Candy is an amazing movie. What the heck was that?
Wow.
He was in Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He was in Home Alone. He was in Cool Runnings. Oh, man.
Okay,
Cool
I know
Runnings
Home
is
Alone, I know
so
Cool
good.
Runnings.
He plays the coach in Cool Runnings.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in years. I never said I watched it. I said I know it.
Cool Runnings is great. He was in
Yeah.
Spaceballs.
I've never watched that, but I know a lot about it.
He was in the Blue Brothers, apparently.
I don't know.
Man. He's a funny dude. Got to watch some of his stuff.
Maybe.
But he died in 94.
Oh, that was...
So he died before any of us were born.
Yeah, well before me, at
Wait.
least.
Wait, when was it again?
March 4th, 94.
Dang,
Yep.
2 months before I came to bring chaos.
Think I was lying?
Well, I heard 94. I'm like, wait a minute.
You're like, wait.
I got lucky there. I have no idea when your birthday is.
Good, you don't need to.
World
Not
building
me,
is
though.
next, and I think while they did a good job building the world because they went all over the place, but I don't think the terrain was very accurate to what Australia actually is. I don't think Australia is very mountainous. I think it's
I
pretty
mean-
flat,
I mean, this is only part of Australia.
I guess, but and when he climbs this ridge, it's at the top of it, it's all flat. But when he saves the bird and they go flying, there's a mountain behind them.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
And
That
that
was a
mountain
little
never
strange.
shows up again. It's flat every other time. But I don't know. The little mouse restaurant was cute, but not super practical. The poacher's lair was stupid. Why is he living in a rock?
I mean, it was a
So
pretty
he
cool
doesn't
lair.
get
What
found
are
It
you
was a
talking
cool
about?
lair, I guess, but why is he living in a rock in Australia? You know
So
what?
he doesn't
because
get
he's doing
found like
something
that.
illegal.
Actually, people do build houses underground in Australia because of how hot it gets. So I'll take that back.
And on top
And
of that,
because
like
he's doing
Mike
something
said,
illegal.
yeah, he's doing illegal things. You need a nice hideout.
Can't get caught. Also,
So-
you want to know why the mountain disappears? Because you
Why?
stop seeing it from the view of non-Australians.
Mhm.
You start seeing it from the view of Australians, and it ain't nothing.
But I'm gonna give
It's just
world
like
building
flat land.
I'm gonna give it a 5 because I don't know if that's an accurate depiction, but I also can't say that it isn't. So
I'm gonna give the world building a 9 due to the fact that, and you're gonna be like, no, but hear me out. I'm gonna give it a 9 due to the fact that it showed us how the rescuer's code goes all around the world
no,
like
that's a good
that,
point.
and we got to see all the different locations that they actually ping from one another
a
too,
good
which was
point.
really cool.
I'll give it a 6 for that.
No.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 7.
I think I'll give it a 5.
All right. Emotional
I'll give it a-
impact. Did you say something, Mike?
I was just gonna say I'll give it a 6.
Oh.
I'll give it a bumped up point.
Emotional impact. I don't really have anything, but it was absolutely wild that he was dunking this kid into crocodile infested water. That was brutal. But I don't think they really did a good job, like in the first one. I think they did a really good job of showcasing the emotional impact of that kid getting kidnapped. They didn't really do it this time.
Yeah, they did a good job with that first one. With this one, it came again. I don't know if it was Mike or Kevin who said it. It seems like they were in a rush. I don't remember which one you said it was one.
But I said it for I was saying it for the end of the movie, where I'm like, I feel like they rushed to the end.
You or Kevin said it at the very beginning of the podcast.
Oh, that must have been Kevin.
Maybe.
Probably. I don't remember.
You both said it was rushed, and I agree with both of you on that. It definitely felt rushed because I didn't feel a single bit of emotional impact from the kid. Honestly, I didn't sense really any. Well, like I said, I didn't sense any emotional impact. I would say the most emotional impact I got was from frustration, and then I would say anxiousness for Bernard. I was frustrated with the kid, and then Frank. But I was anxious for Bernard because I'm like, dude, like I want things to go right for him, and things are just going wrong.
Yeah, the kid never really felt like he was in danger because even when the guy told him his plan that he would throw his backpack in the river so that people thought he got eaten by a crocodile, and then when the kid found out that plan worked and no one's coming to look for him, he was like, the Rangers are going to come get you.
Which
That
is
kid's
something
tough,
that
man.
bothers me. I wish they would. Like, they probably did. I probably didn't peep it, but I wish they would actually show alleged Rangers.
They did.
Like,
they showed him
did
looking
they
in the
what,
water.
for 2 seconds?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
Like they definitely should have had like more scenes with the Rangers.
He
Like,
mentioned that they had way more screen time of the kid mentioning them than they were on the screen.
yeah, like I think that was very poor management there.
Because they were only on the screen for like 5 seconds looking in the river and finding his backpack and then showing the mom the backpack. But I mean, there's really nothing here, so I'm debating between a 1 and a 2, and I don't know.
I'm gonna give it a 4, just because like the level of anger I felt towards the kid and Frank, like
Yeah,
that
you
entire
bring that
scene
up a
with Frank.
lot, but you're
I
not supposed to feel anger.
well, emotional impact is emotions, and anger is an emotion.
I guess.
I think it's more or less asking: did it hit what it's supposed? Did it hit the emotion it's supposed to be hitting?
I
I don't
think
know.
people are supposed to be mad at Frank
Yeah,
because the
that's a
rest of
good
the
point.
animals were pretty mad at Frank. They were pretty all
But why?
frustrated with him. Like,
Okay, but why would you deliberately want to make something that frustrates a child? Wouldn't you want to make something that's like a kid could laugh at? I think the point for Frank is he does these things so kids would laugh at it.
Yeah, that's a good point
Did
too.
it hit? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm going back to a 1.
I'm gonna stick with my 5 for me because I ain't ranking this on the kid. I'm ranking this on me.
And we are in worst movie watch,
Well,
by the way. It needs 7
that
points
is
over the next 2.
Jeez. For motion, I'm gonna go right down the middle with a 5.
Mike, did you give your score?
I did not. These last ones I'm struggling with. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I felt nothing. That was blank. I just watched it. That was it. I didn't really feel any real particular way. I don't really want to give it a 0. I think I'll give it a 1.
All right. Next up is message. So, message and theme. The central theme of Rescuers Down Under revolves around the idea of bravery, friendship, and the importance of protecting wildlife. The characters are motivated by a sense of duty and the belief that it is their responsibility to help those in need. And then the message, the movie conveys a message about the significance of standing up against injustice and cruelty.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that kid is fearless.
Yeah.
There's not a moment that he does not stand up to the poacher.
Yeah. He knew he wasn't in danger.
I'm going to give it a 4. I don't know.
I would say it. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I think I'm just gonna keep it with the same as the last one. And give it a 7.
Oh my gosh, I have no clue.
You gave the last one a 7, if that one helps.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it was not going over a 5 right now. I don't know, like, I heard what you said, and it's like on a technicality, yeah, but and then again, it just feels like, so they had this moment here where he stood up to the poacher. This movie's about bravery. Add that to the checklist. It's like,
not a moment, it's the whole movie.
Technically, yes, but like, is that what it's supposed to be? I don't know. It just feels like if you looked at a check mark and you saw a kid stood up to poacher, must mean stands for bravery. About helping your friends, because they went to go help that kid. Yeah, and they became friends at the end. And the kid helped the eagle. All right, so that's another one on the checklist. I'm gonna give it a 5. I'll put it down the middle.
A 5, all right.
The more I think on this movie, the more actually upset I get. I think I might actually prefer the first one.
Yeah, Spoiler alert, you have a lower score for this movie than I do at the moment.
Good. I think. I don't know. The more I'm thinking on this movie, the more frustrated I'm just getting to myself. I watched it and I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, why am I frustrated? It almost feels like a downgrade. I like.
Yeah. So next up is Legacy, and this movie didn't get nominated for any awards, which I am realizing that for Little Mermaid, I don't think we brought up the awards. So my bad. Maybe we did. I don't know. I haven't got that far in the re-listen to the podcast. The Rescuers have no identity in the parks whatsoever. This movie it is the first movie to get a sequel, but the fact that all four of us have no idea why this movie was selected to be the first one to get a sequel, that kind of hampers it. And the fact that I had never seen it, never wanted to see it, and now never want to watch it again. The legacy of this movie is not great. But you can't deny the fact that it was it was the first sequel.
Bro.
What?
No, I'm getting frustrated. And I'm like laughing about it. It's like, yeah, it is the first one with a sequel. Why?
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
I feel bad because I believe this is like one that a lot of people like. And I'm like, why? Like the first one. I think I'd honestly rather just watch regular Rescuers. I think it was just a much better movie.
Yeah. Man, I think I wanted to give it a 5 just because of the fact that it was the first movie with a sequel. But the more I think about how it didn't deserve to be the first movie with a sequel, the more I don't want to give it a 5.
We'll see then. I feel like that's just like knocking points off the first one, because the first one didn't deserve the sequel, but I feel like they improved on the first one.
You know what? That's a fair point. So I'll go. I was at a 5. I was going to give it a 3, but I'll split the difference and give it a 4.
Okay.
You know, Sword and Stone could have got a sequel. It could have been from after he became king.
Honestly,
or during his time as king.
Honestly, I would have much rather watched a Sword in the Stone sequel. I was thinking of Black Cauldron, so now I need to rethink of what I just said.
No, but think about it, right? You take place after the Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
It's the first one, the new ways to get the sequel, and it's about him actually being king.
Yeah.
So you follow the actual tale of King Arthur. Man, that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Instead, I got 0.5 version of Rescuers. I'm upset.
Dequan, what do you give the legacy? How important do you think it is that it's the first sequel?
I'm gonna be honest. It's a double-edged sword for me. That's the problem, and I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I'm just gonna say this really quick. It's not important that it's a sequel, but it is important that it's a sequel. And the reason that it's not important is because there's not many sequels to begin with. But that's what makes it important as well, that it's one of the few that actually have a sequel.
Yep, we didn't get another one for 10 years.
Yeah, but if sequels were so important, wouldn't there be more? That's my problem here. That's the dilemma I'm stuck in. So I'm going to do like the same as you, but I'm going to level it with a 5. Because like sequels don't seem that important if there's not enough of them, but they seem important if there's a niche number of them. Like it can go either way.
It depends on how you look at it, I guess. I think the small number of them makes it that much more impressive that it got one. Because it wasn't for another 10 years until we got Fantasia 2000, and then it wasn't until Wreck-It Ralph got a sequel in 2018. So it was an 18-year gap in between Fantasia and Wreck-It Ralph.
Right.
I don't know.
But you could almost take that into a thing of the sequels don't do good, so we shouldn't do them too much.
I mean, I
But then
guess
when it
it
comes
is a
to a
good
point
point
of
because Fantasia
could wait.
2000 probably isn't very good. This one isn't very good. Ralph Breaks the Internet's good, not as good as the first one. Frozen 2 is good, not as good as the first one. What's the other one?
So
Am I
that could
missing
be why
one?
there isn't as many.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh's phenomenal. Can't wait for that one. Kevin, what say
Kevin?
you?
5.
5. Mikey?
What was yours and Dino's score again?
I gave it a
I just need to
4.
refresh my
Duquan gave it a 5. Kevin gave it a 5.
2 5s and a 4.
And you gave the original a 3.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking a 3 too.
Nice.
But now that I'm thinking a 3, I'm going a 2.
Oh boy. Not great.
I'm being a hater for
Not
this movie.
great.
And it's just because the more I think on it, the more frustrated I'm getting.
So even though Mike gave this movie a 7 for enjoyment, it took a turn quick.
Can I lower that to a 6?
Okay. It took a turn quick because you gave it a 34 overall. And I have a 38. Kevin has a 58. And Dequan stays at the top consistently with a 62.
All right, is it consistently at the top or consistently with the 60s? So, like, what do you mean by the consistent? Which one
I
is
mean, both. You give a lot of 60s, and you're consistently the highest rated person.
it? I'm kind of a nice person.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I'm a jerk. when I don't like something, I don't like it, and I could give multiple reasons why I don't like it. But in the contrast, when I like something, I do really like it.
Joe, you got to hit us with a speed around.
Yeah, we got to get through Riley's emotion quickly because we're already over 2 hours here. So what was everyone's favorite and least favorite moment of the movie?
Favorite moment, Wilbert getting surgery. Least favorite moment, what's his name? You know who it is. The lizard.
Larry,
Jenny?
Frank. Yeah, Frank. My least favorite moment is Frank. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good... Man, that part sucks. Kevin?
Favorite part? Anything with Wilbur. Man, the surgery scene really sticks out, but really just any of his scenes. Least favorite? I don't really have a least favorite. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Mike?
Least favorite. Any scene that had to deal with the animals being captive down there, because I still think that whole thing is just pointless. Take it out, nothing changes, you lose nothing. Personal opinion. Favorite moment, I'll say the end, where my man Bernard basically had to step up and save the day and get his proposal off. So I'm going to put that as my favorite moment.
Nice.
There you go.
So originally I made a note so I wouldn't forget it on what my least favorite moment was, and it was the surgery scene for Wilbur. But
is your least favorite?
Yes, but hear me out. It's because I didn't know Wilbur was in the rest of the movie. So I thought that scene was only there to extend his time in the movie. So I thought it was a pointless scene. But then they came back to it again, and then he came back in the movie again. So I was like, okay, it's not a pointless scene. It was a plot point. But I thought that was going to be the last we saw him. The first time we saw him in the surgery room, I thought that was going to be the last time we saw him. But with that said, my least favorite moment is the end when they don't take the kid back to his mom. The eagle doesn't go back to her eggs, and they forget all the animals in.
That moment does suck.
And then my favorite moment is when when the poacher is asking Joanna if she knew that there was a razorback in his cab. Oh, I love that part. I'm not even gonna ask about the songs because there's freaking nothing.
Yeah,
Everyone's
we'll
favorite,
just push that.
favorite and least favorite character.
Favorite character is once again. Actually, I'm lying. It's not once again. My favorite character this time is Bernard. So my least favorite character is the poacher.
I'm surprised you said the poacher.
Yeah, I
I still
mean,
thought the lizard was going on there.
did you not hear what he said about, you know, killing them, ripping their pelts off, and enjoying it, the thrill of it, and then killing like baby animals before they're even like fully born? Yeah, I can't slide with that.
I mean, true. I was just going off of what's been your main complaint.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Frank,
thought
he's
I
not.
thought for sure it was gonna be Cody or Frank.
Cody does indeed suck, and Frank does suck as well, but they're not out here ending lives and enjoying the aspect of ending lives.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Plus,
Kevin.
poaching is a really huge thing occurring.
Favorite's Wilbur, and least favorite. I think I'm gonna say Bianca.
It's fair.
What? He's
She doesn't do anything.
Hold up. I think he's cooking. They did
That's
literally make her
crazy.
do absolutely nothing. You know, I'm gonna say it. If you take her out of the movie, well, no, that does take away the proposal. But they could have done the proposal. But
No, because
no,
you
actually,
also take
I do
away.
agree with that. If you take her out of the movie, you don't really lose much.
Mike just wants to take everything out of the movie. Mike wants to take the movie out of the
If you
movie.
take her out of the movie would have never happened.
Yeah, if you take her out of the movie, then you lose the dynamic between Jack and Bernard.
Yep.
What dynamic? I'm be real. I didn't really see much. I mean, there was the thing, but they never were really like. I guess to me, because you said dynamic, I'm thinking they're butting heads. They're going eye to eye at each other, but they never really did that.
I
No,
guess
their
that's fair.
dynamic
mean-
more was showboaty bravery versus not so showboaty cowardly, and like just overall not believing in oneself.
My man took on a whole boar. That's brave.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see him throughout the entire movie. He's timid and whatnot, and then you see like the complete opposite of him. So that was like the dynamic, the opposite.
So what's your
He's a man who
baseline?
does what he needs to do, but he's like, I'd rather not have to do this, but I guess I'll do it. And he's timid. Favorite is gonna be my homie, that dude Bernard. They made him the real MVP of this movie, in my opinion. And I originally was just gonna say the lizard, but I kind of agree with the poacher thing that Dina was bringing up with about how much he got a thrill out of what he does, and he's not even like doing something that's like good, like at all. He's literally doing something illegal, and he's getting a thrill out of being like a sicko. So, yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree
favorite.
with you guys a little bit here. At my least favorite, I think there's a numerous amount of people that can go there because you got Cody, you got Frank, you got Bianca. I would even throw Bernard down there.
I'm gonna throw the MVP.
Man, Bernard
Safe to
sucked.
take.
Bernard sucked, man. But
You suck.
I think it has to go to Frank because Frank just really sucked.
If you take Frank out of the movie, you lose nothing.
Frank was my second choice.
And then my favorite is honestly between Wilbur and the poacher because of how many funny lines the poacher had and how good of a villain he was.
He's
I can't
definitely a
watch
good villain.
I can't fault you on it. He's definitely a good villain. I just couldn't get past the fact that dude was quite literally like damaging the ecosystem and making like endangered creatures like completely extinct.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it to Wilbur, but I just wanted to note that the poacher was second.
No, he's definitely a great villain. I 100% agree with that. There's no disagreeing on that. It's just the thing of what he does sucks.
Right?
Like, there's not even like a point of like, well, maybe you could look at it from this perspective of it being good. No, he's just
Hey,
a jerk.
crazy part is, dude really he hit all the cylinders, bro. Like abuse of animals, murder of animals, like child abduction, like almost murdering of a child. Like, dude hit all. See, he honestly, he might be worse than the first. No, he's definitely worse than the first lady. I forgot the lady from the first movie.
Madame
He's definitely
Medusa.
worse than her.
You know
Madame
what's
Medusa,
crazy?
he tops her by a
You
march.
know what I found out is that the animator that designed her hated his ex-wife so much that he made Madame Medusa look like her.
Oh, that's peak. That's peak right
Oh man.
The pettiness. The pettiness.
there. All right, Joey.
Yeah, so that is The Rescuers Down Under. Join us in the next episode, which will be Beauty and the Beast, believe it or not. Spoiler alert, this movie has a very good chance of being the first movie to hit a perfect 100 score.
Yo, I'm right there with you, Chief. I'm right there with you.
It's not.
No bias.
It's not. No
It might
bias.
It might not. But I do have a Disney trip coming up, so there are going to be some some bonus episodes that we're going to be throwing out to cover for my absence. And so just stick around. It's going to be fun. You can follow us anywhere on social medias at TMOA_pod, aka TMOA pod. And Dequan, Kevin, Mike, have any of you joined the world of social media for the world to find you?
Absolutely
Like I
not.
said, I have a Instagram, but I don't really use it. You see, I don't really use it. I just like your stuff and then send you things.
Yeah, I don't use my Instagram either.
What's an
I just-
Instagram?
I just go on it to see what you and my wife, and Mike sent me.
Well, that's not true. You post on there.
Well, okay, I post and then immediately exit. I've made the video
That's
for
something.
TikTok, and I'm just conveniently don't have to do anything extra. I just click post on Instagram.
Beautiful.
But if you want to find me, I'm at People Call Me Joey with underscores in between each word on TikTok and Instagram. I wouldn't recommend following me on Instagram because I don't do anything on there on my account. But if TikTok gets banned because they voted on it today, that's the only place I'll be able to be. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I think that's everything. So just remember, they all lived happily ever animated.
Except me.
Except Mike and all of the animals that they left in the cave.
Oh yeah, and the eggs or the newborn birds.
Yeah, they're gonna be raised by what was he again?
Wilbert.
An albatross?
No, like what did they? Yeah, that. They're not even gonna be raised by their own mother.
I never thought albatross was so prevalent in New York.